In Lovely Day, Alain and Virginie, played by Neil Elias and Rosemary Perreault, are getting married today, but Alain is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. The impending reunion of his divorced parents has plunged him into deep anxiety, only made worse by the shady schemes of his cousin and best man Édouard, played by comedian Hassan Mahbouba, who seems determined to get him involved. Groom now only has one ambition: to survive the happiest day of his life. Lovely Day is directed by Philippe Falardeau, who has switched between English language and French language films throughout his career, such as The Good Lie and My Salongelia and Monsieur Lazare. Lovely Day just debuted at the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival. Lovely Day for me is, have you ever been to a wedding as a plus one and you don't know anybody at the wedding, you don't know the bride or the groom, and you don't know all of the in-jokes and the history of anybody who's at the wedding, so it's kind of a little bit boring, and that's what it kind of feels like watching this film. Actually, for the first 20 minutes of the film, I was kind of enjoying it a little bit because Alain, played by Neil Elias, he's just on the way to his wedding in a car. He's been driven by his cousin slash best mate, Édouard, played by an impressive Hassan Mahbouba in his film debut. He's been driven to the wedding, and he's kind of like playing with his cousin, and they kind of have like a nice banter. And Alain, he's kind of like very nervous about the wedding. He's nervous about his parents, his very divorced parents at the wedding, and he's a bit worried about how the day's going to go, and he kind of has like a piece of paper that's in his pocket, like has what time he needs to take his like anxiety medication, and it's quite humorous. It's kind of like a Woody Allen type character, but without the like wit or humor. But after that first 20 minutes of the film, the director really plays with the narrative structure of the film, because in the first 20 minutes of the film, where Alain and his mate Édouard, they talk about like different people about in their lives and about the history and about what happened in their past, and as a viewer we're not really sure who these people are and what they're talking about. And then after the first 20 minutes of the film, Alain, he's after the wedding ceremony, they're at this wedding party, and Alain's father is just about to get up and do a speech, and Alain, he stands up and just walks out, and everybody's going, what's going on? And after that, the next 40 minutes of the film is flashbacks to Alain's childhood and kind of what led to him to have this anxiety in his life and his medical conditions in his life, and how what kind of a childhood he had. Like his parents were very before they got divorced, or like arguing with each other all the time, and they got Alain involved in their arguments, and so he kind of had a little bit of a traumatic childhood. And in that 40-minute period where you see him grew up to be like a high school, college age student, and how he met his wife-to-be eventually when she was a college student. And then after that 40-minute stretch, the final hour of the film is back into the present time, the actual wedding ceremony, and then more of the after party. And that final hour of the film was quite a slog to get through, because it's just a lot of characters fighting and about the past, and Alain, he's kind of a miserable groom, and like he just never smiles. Like he just keeps like people doing speeches and doing stuff for him. Like all these people at the wedding, they're his friends and helping him organize the wedding, and he's just been very rude and very self-centered, and he's just not happy. He's just not happy to be there, and because of this, I found it very hard to like this character. Even in the first half of the film, where we see the flashbacks as him as a younger person, he's just not very likable. He's very self-centered, and he's in love with this girl, and for 5 years, but he never tells her the truth. He just pretends that he doesn't like her, and then when one of his friends ends up dating her, he gets angry, and he ends up like poisoning him, and then when we're supposed to feel sorry for him, but it's just I found him a very unlikable character. And in the second half of the film, it just escalated more for me, because he was just so self-centered throughout the whole wedding ceremony. And then at the end of the movie, after all this fighting at the wedding, we get this montage of the Bill Withers song, Lovely Day, Lovely Day, Lovely Day, Lovely Day. And everybody at the wedding is dancing and singing and everybody's happy and smiling. It's just that scene is like trying to make us forget, trying to make us convince us that we actually had a good time. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that scene was very superficial and tacked on at the end. So for me, this film was a bit of a disappointment because I have enjoyed, for the most part, director Perreault's previous films. But I did, as I said before, the debut film by comedian Hassan Mahbouba, he was quite impressive in his film debut. I found him quite amusing throughout the film. And in the first 20 minutes of the film, where we're just got this mad dash to the wedding, and I wish the film kind of focused on that. If the film was just like a day in the life of Neil as he's trying to get through this day, I think the film would be much more enjoyable. I just thought the flashbacks in the first half of the film didn't really add to the film, just didn't really give him any character at all. I give Lovely Day 2 stars out of 5. I was with this film for the first 20 minutes of the film. The madcap comedic way of the first 20 minutes of the film I quite enjoyed, but after that it was a bit of a slog for me. The flashback scenes and the final hour of the film were very grating, and even though impressive performance from comedian Hassan Mahbouba was nice, it just wasn't enough for me to really enjoy this film. The central character was very, very unlikable and self-centered for me, so I found it really hard to sympathize with his character. Thanks for watching. What did you think of A Lovely Day? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.